This video is made for adult collectors because there's so many of them. So we got every Voyager Optimus Prime mold from the movies. Not deco, but mold. And yeah, they've made a lot, more than there are actual movies. Slightly a shame that Transformers 1 isn't gonna have a Voyager Optimus, but given how he looks in the trailers, I kinda get the whole deluxe thing. This is every mold, there's 10 of them. And man, they are so different from one another. Even the Studio Series ones that are partials of each other have so many differences. Here we have 2007, 2009, they share a mold, 2010, 2011, 2014, 2017, then Studio Series 05, Studio Series 32, Studio Series 38, Rise of the Beast mainline, and Studio Series 102. That's a lot. Like a lot. And I have the ones I like and don't, but I'm curious to know what your ranking is, so let me know in the comments which ones you like from top to bottom, 1 to 10. But I guess we'll go in order and talk about all of these, which do have their own videos, so I won't go into like detail on articulation and transformation because like I'm not making this video 2 hours long. I ain't doing that. Starting with 2007. Or more accurately, 2009. This was the first Voyager mold to come out for the films, hot off the heels of Cybertron. This feels a lot like a Cybertron toy. It's big and chunky and bulky and not super accurate, but it's still very fun. This is the 2009 deco that has the darker colors, the Cybertronian tattoos, and some of the small differences in like the flames and stuff. He also has firing missiles, so yay! Actually, they work pretty well for being from 2009, but given his age, the articulation isn't the greatest, and the automorph parts can be a bit gangly to handle, but his transformation is fun. In Revenge of the Fallen, they actually do this leg transformation once in the film, which is kind of funny. And the truck is neat. Again, not super accurate, but it's a dense brick with the hologram gimmick. That hologram gimmick, by the way, is like the coolest thing, because it's just like that cowboy Peter Cullen thing from the comic books in the driver's seat. And this mold worked so well they used it for 2 films in a row before bringing in a new mold in 2010. 2010 gave us Hunt for the Decepticons, or Autobot Alliance, my favorite toy line. And they took the leader class from 2009, mine? Yes, this is mine. No, they took the leader from 2009, there you go, and just made him smaller. But unlike most up and down scales, they changed the engineering to fit the size. Most KO up and down scales, they don't change the engineering because the toys are engineered for the size that they are made in, and making them smaller or bigger means that engineering doesn't often fit the toy anymore, especially when they start changing materials because tolerances and all that. I'm looking at you, original venerable sentinel. But here, they made it slightly simpler because it's smaller, and I think it works pretty well. And this is my favorite Voyager Optimus mold. It looks the part, though he has a bit of a backpack. The swords I took off and promptly lost, but his gas tanks can become guns, and that's pretty cool. His articulation is still old, adding ankles but removing wrists and waist swivels, but the transformation is also kind of fun. Instead of extending the feet, you extend the legs to stretch the grill out, and the backpack just like eats the torso to make an actually really cool looking truck. Like, it looks so good and feels great in hand. Though the matrix, he has a matrix in his chest, but it never wants to fit during the transformation. Like, I have to take it out and put it on the back. Does anyone know how to fix that? I've never been able to figure it out. They ended up using this mold again in 2011 for a Walmart exclusive pack that had a deluxe in its darker colors, the hooks, which I've lost, the moon and the stars on it. It was pretty cool. But in 2011, they also gave us this weird looking bro. This is the Takara one that came with the trailer, but this is essentially the same mold, and this one has issues, but that's just my copy. The backpack does not like staying up, but the proportions are so strange, though this was the first Prime to get the lower legs right, kind of. So Optimus in the film has his legs, they start to go outward the closer you get to his feet, kind of like bell bottoms, and this is one of the 2 figures Voyager-wise that kind of gets that shaping correct. But he has long ass legs. However, that does make posing kind of fun. Like, he's a lot of fun to mess with. He also has a mech tech gun, and this one is a blade, and it doesn't like working half the time. And due to how weird he is, his transformation is super unique, and the legs are very satisfying to like clip into place. And the truck mode is cool, but very stylized. The Hasbro one actually has rocket boosters at the back. And then the Peterbilt retired, and we moved to 2014. Age of Extinction gave us the first try at a movie Optimus turning into the G1 truck. Before that just became our main Optimus. Evasion mode came in and showed us they could take a Voyager taller than the last 2 and fit it into a much smaller truck that's actually insane. The deco is really lacking, but the toy itself is epic. He also came with Megatron's shotgun that can peg into Dark of the Moon Megatron's Voyager's hand that I don't have. He also does the lower legs pretty good. Honestly, I think this is the best lower legs on like an Optimus Voyager, but the wheels are not in the right spot. Though I kind of prefer them down here, it's just not accurate. His articulation is super modern and I like that. His ankles could tilt a little bit more, but it's still good. And his transformation, well, actually his transformation is a little bit clashy, but super interesting with how the arms form the roof as opposed to the traditional side of the truck. And he gets that flat nose truck to work very well. It's also really damn small. Like it mass shifts pretty well. I dig it. The weapon storage though is poo, but that's just Transformers. Then we move on to The Last Knight, where in 2017, they actually made the Knight design work in this scale, where they also called the line Premier Edition, and it had this strange ad to make them look very prestigious, even though one of them was a no paint redeco of Bumblebee. Actually, I'm just gonna show you the ad.
For eons, they have lived among you, hiding in plain sight, waiting to become more than meets the eye. The Premier Edition collection from Transformers The Last Knight, each sold separately.
Wait, was that the Bionicle commercial voice guy?
For centuries, the bottom of the deepest seas have been shrouded in mystery and superstition.
That sounds so similar. That's really cool. And this is also really cool. This is the DVD deco, so it's very different from the standard release. Darker colors, yellow accents, purple eyes. Love it. And he's got the best painted head of this version of the mold that exists to me, though the red stripe. It needed the red stripe. He also comes with a cool purple sword and a very small shield, but it works, though the posing isn't the best due to how it transforms and how budgets changed and they were smaller, I believe. It's kind of in the posing department. Transformation is also a bit Things don't like lining up properly till the very end, but once you get it all sorted, that's a cool looking truck. It's a bit squished in its proportions and has tiny ass wheels, but it looks neat. The darker colors definitely make it look a lot nicer. But after this, we lost the movie mainlines like this and were given Studio Series. Studio Series launched with some interesting toys. The first wave of a toy line has always got growing pains. And we got Studio Series 05, a figure that is a mix of Evasion Modes engineering and Transformers Prime First Edition Prime Engineer. I wasn't expecting that. Done in a movie style with weird proportions. The original deco of this was very plain and boring and bland, but this is the premium finish one and it really saves this mold for me, making this my favorite version of Bay Studio Series Optimus. Like, of all of them. The articulation is amazing. The deco is also amazing. The backpack, skinny legs, and wide chest are some of people's biggest complaints, and yeah, they're a bit wonky, but I still like this mold because his transformation is fun. It's a tiny bit scuffed, but everything fits together and it's not annoying. But the alt mode is cool, short safety smokestacks and all, it's neat. Then for SS32, they partialed 05 into a newer Prime that I like much less. The reason I like it less is because they added a lot of engineering, but he feels way too small for all that stuff. And a lot of stuff clashes. The grill tab broke on mine, and I'm not the only person who's had that issue. I see several people with their grill tabs broken. It does look a bit nicer though. Like this one's covered in toy hacks, so we'll ignore the toy hacks, and this is the box set version, but they got a lot more of an accurate proportion to the chest. The backpack is more accurate. Like they made it look nicer in robot mode. Truck mode is pretty similar, but there are a few changes. Not much else though worth of note other than the fact that it could combine with Jetfire. That's cool. I don't want to break my Jetfire, so I'm not going to do it. Apparently Jetfire likes to break when you combine him. So then that's it. That's it for Michael Bay Primes. We are getting more next year, but this is when we moved to reboot Optimus Primes. I don't really like 38 that much, but it's still not a bad toy. Mine's head sculpt and head plate like to just fall off a lot. It's very strange. And the articulation is a tad awkward in the shoulder due to like the sculpt, at least for me. Probably doesn't help that I got 102 before 38, but I still dig the chunky design of the figure. It's not accurate, but it still looks cool. Oh, and the legs kind of suck. But he does pose pretty good for a Studio Series toy with standardized articulation, and his transformation is fine. I'm not the biggest fan of how the torso bits bump into everything when you rotate the upper half, and then the head falling off is annoying. But everything else is fine, and it cleans up pretty well into this nice and neat truck. Massive paint chips on the front aside, that's really annoying to me. It looks pretty nice, cleaner than 102, but we'll get to that later. After this, there wasn't a new Studio Series Optimus Prime mold at Voyager scale. Then Rise of the Beast rolled around and gave us a cheaper price, smaller Voyager based on Evasion and Cyberverse engineering, and man, this is good. 2023's Transformers Rise of the Beast Voyager Optimus Prime is so nice. This thing is like a big sleeper hit because I was expecting it to be okay, but not amazing. And then I got it from a friend in England, and it is so good. It's small, but it's nice. Concept art design and all, but like, I like it. There was a lot of gray on this guy though, part of him being cheaper than a regular Voyager. Like over here, it was $7 to $9 cheaper, depending on where you found it. But I did buy the toy hacks. Thanks Cam for making toy hacks for this dude. And yeah, it makes him look a lot nicer. What blows me away though is the posing, ab crunch, really dynamic arms and a lot of range in the legs. Transformation is super simple again because it's using Evasion Optimus Prime's leg engineering. I think it's time to retire that transformation, honestly. Let's come up with something new, please. And the truck is super nice. I like how compact and dense it feels. Everything tabs together super securely. And then we get on to the latest one, 102. I know the community is like half 38 is better and half 102 is better, and I'm probably in the camp that likes 102 more, but if you like...
Oh, that's fun.
But if you like 38 more, then that is totally cool. And I like how it feels a bit more solid. It's a tiny bit more posable and more interactive with the weapons and the different mounting points, and I really like that. And the legs like to stay together, unlike 38 where they don't like to stay together. This is also built off of a retool budget, not a full figure budget. That makes me forgive some of the weirdness of the design, because the designers talked about that when they revealed this toy. The axe though, you have to get primal because there wasn't room in the prime budget for it. And the exclusivity. This was a Target exclusive, again, from the reveal stream. This was a Target exclusive because the wave was already full and they wanted an Optimus out on the shelf at the time, so Target was like, hey, we'll do it. They mentioned plenty of times that they were going to get a regular release of this figure, and sure enough, next year it's coming out. That and the Takara one is also a regular release over there, and you can just order one from so many different places, but I guess a bunch of people just missed that. So here's me telling you again, it's getting a regular release. You're fine. His articulation's nice with the hips that drop down to clear the front skirt. Transformation is also a bit more enjoyable over 38 because it doesn't clash as much, but the truck is the back is messy and it is a bit ew, but the rest of it actually holds together quite well. I can mostly forgive the back because of the retool budget, but it is still a bit not enough for me to not like the toy though. And that's all of them. Every movie Voyager Optimus mold, not Deco. I'm not gonna bother hunting. That means I need lucky draws. We're not doing that. Again, let me know which one's your favorite, but my favorites, like top 5, are probably Hunt for the Decepticons, 102, Mainline, 05 Premium Finish, and then Evasion. Those are mine. But these are all by no means bad. They go from all right to pretty great, and that makes me excited to see what they're going to do in the future. Optimus Prime barely gets bad toys. But that's my look at every movie Optimus mold from the Voyager class. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.